Dr. Serrano, the question we got by email from Bo in San Antonio was, what workout program would you suggest for the goal of increasing overall arm size as well as lowering body fat levels?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to assume this is a normal person, not for athletic purposes, but for increased arm size or bodybuilding purposes. Now, about getting leaner, doesn't matter what you do in the weight room. If you don't go through your eating and your supplementation, it's not going to happen. So it doesn't matter how much you run, how much you exercise, diet has to come first. Our arm size, we need to distinguish that I'm just talking about bodybuilding purposes here, not athletic purposes. And I will say one of the key factors to arm size is actually one time of retention or the amount of density of the workout, meaning how much I can do over a certain amount of period of time. Now, I'm going to assume that Bo is not an advanced person, but if he was an advanced, I'm going to give you two routines. One will be for the person that is very advanced, that have been doing it for a while. Another one is going to be for a routine for bodybuilding purposes to look good. If I have a person that has been training for a while, like Bo, usually they concentrate only on the curling motion right here. The only problem with that the bicep has two heads, that's why it's called bicep. The short head, that yes, it crosses that, and the long head that crosses your shoulder. So the movement is flexion here and flexion on your shoulder. And actually, if you know that my arm is not neutral, it's supinated. The reason is because the bicep crosses supination, and you can see with my bicep. And that's the main action of the bicep. Now, let me start with an exercise that I really like a lot, and I will do this exercise in a row, one after the other, so it'd be like A1, A2, A3, and that way you go from one exercise immediately to the next exercise and then to the next exercise, then you rest the amount of time that we're going to decide that is proper for that person. The first one, I prefer cables or bands. The reason I'm going to use bands now is in case the person will have access to cables at home, they can have bands. All you need is a band, or you need to tie it to a dumbbell, so I have it tied to a dumbbell right there. What I want to do is, I want the person to bend down, back straight. I will curl, okay, and at the same time I curl, I lift my arm above my head. Okay, now, if you do that, I prefer you to do it with both arms at the same time. And of course, my dumbbell is moving right there, but if not, I tie it to a power rack. Scott, can you hold it? So I'll be doing this. I'll be athletic position. I come down, I do one, and then I go above my head. Got it? And I come down. Now the question there is, what's the tempo? Because I'm using bands, as I pull more and more, it's going to get harder for me. So I want like a 4-second hold on top and 3 seconds down. That will work the short head and the long head. Immediately after I do that, I'm going to go to what I call incline curls. And the reason I'm going to do that, because actually I will use the long head also. And on that one, I want a 35-degree incline, so my arms are behind me almost, so I'm stretching the head of the long head of the bicep. Okay, I'm going to come curl, and then I'm going to go up. Hold that for 2, and go down. So the 2 movements, flexion first, and flexion of the shoulder. That will take care of that. Okay, if the person has a incline like this one, you can also actually do it this way. You can go behind your bench. You can go ahead and put your elbows right there to protect the elbow. Come up and then lift up off the bench. Hold it and go down. Okay, so those are basically 2 normal movements. Now the next exercise will be what is called the Gironda roll-up, and that's when you get a bar. And I'm going to use, I don't have a bar here right now, but I'm going to use this to show people. Because I already burned my long head of the biceps, I am tired. You're going to get a bar, okay, and most people will do it this way. I'm going to show, most people do this, they always do this. Okay, now we're going to do a roll-up bar. So what we do, we have the bar in our hands, and we go roll it, keeping the bar against my body. And that's going to be very hard because you're going to be tired already, and you go down. You come back, rolling it up your body, and go down. Those are 3 exercises that you're going to do in a row. I will do like, I would say 6 to 8, then 12, then I'll try to do 25 reps right here. Now that's a low volume, so I only want to do 2 cycles, resting about 1 to 2 minutes between cycles. On an advanced trainer, I might just add one exercise, and that's called the chin up. And I don't want to do pull-ups with chin up. I cannot do it here because I'm going to go through the ceiling here, but what I want to do that person usually is, I will come back, hold it like a chin up, okay? I'm going to go up, hold it for 4, and then I'm going to come down, keeping my feet in front of me. I'm going really slow. And that's going to take about 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds down, 4 reps. That is extremely, extremely hard, and it will make your biceps burn. Then I'll go to the other exercise. Now, again, the key to this is not how much weight, it's how long it lasts, that set, time of attention, and how little rest you take in between or density. Again, you should not do this exercise, even you're an advanced trainee, no more than twice a week. Now, if you're doing arms, or you're doing bench, lats, or something like that, then it's going to be hard to do it the same day because you're going to be very tired. So I will choose one day that I do arms by itself. Questions?
Yes, for a trainee that's had a history of shoulder pain, would you prefer more of the preacher type movement where you demonstrated the curl versus the incline type of movement?
If you have elbows and shoulder problems, I will use the preacher curl and I will not use the chin up because I'm assuming you have no injuries. Now, if you have injuries, absolutely you have to fix that injury first before you go into this exercise.
And lastly, for an advanced trainee, we typically change some parameters of the workout every 2 weeks. So let's say if the total cycle is 6 weeks, where they're doing this particular workout once per week, we would typically change the rep tempo, the repetition number, and the amount of rest over the course of that 6-week cycle to make the workout more dense. And you had touched on density in terms of how important it is. Can you elaborate?
Absolutely. For example, if I'm going to take this curl here and I'm going to do 15. Okay, I'm going to do 3 reps. But I can do it that fast. I use 15 pounds for 5 reps or 3 reps, whatever it is. That gives me like a 45 volume. Okay, now the problem with that is that I did it this way. So I did my 3 reps, and people are going to tell me, you did 3 reps. How about if I do 3 reps this way? Watch my rep. You guys understand it's totally different because now I'm using a different type of tension. I'm also different tempo. Now density might be a little longer there because density for me is amount of volume divided by the amount of time that I spend on the gym. Now most people might do it that way, but rest 10 minutes into the next set, you don't do anything. So I want a fast tempo in the sense of no rest between sets because I want more density. I want to do as much work as I did before in less amount of time. The reason we do that is because we also want to get stronger. So you can do that at a number of reps with less rest, okay? Then I'm going to get stronger and bigger. Think about this. If I can move 10 pounds of whatever it is in 5 minutes, 100 yards, how if I can do it in 30 seconds? I'm faster, stronger, and bigger because I can do that.
Lastly, in your experience practicing medicine, I know that shoulder and elbow and wrist pain are common things you see amongst people that weight train. Would the controlled tempos in your experience reduce the stress on joints because the weight does not put as much shearing forces on the joints as opposed to sloppy form?
Absolutely, because I'm removing the rebound effect and also removing, most people can do the weight correctly anyway, so they tend to cheat. So they put cheat curls or whatever. No, make sure that the movement you can do it correctly first, then you can go and do it unstable if you want to. But right now, most people that I see, they can't even do it correctly. I see most people doing curls this way. So I call it the hip thrust, because you're just throwing your hips into it. It's not a true curl. I can curl 225 pounds, and then when I go, wow, I'm impressed, I go see them. Half of the way it's just, it's momentum, it's not even the weight, the bone is holding the weight. That's when I do curls. If I'm at this angle right here, the bone is actually holding the weight. Now when I move away, then my bicep is holding the weight, not my bone. That's what I want, that movement forward. and use the wrong end of the bicep.